So what does all the data say? Well, apparently we're actually in a position that we've got 20% or so less transactions this year than what we actually saw last year. But in fact, we're actually well up on the 5-year average in terms of the total number of transactions that are actually happening in the residential marketplace. This is such an interesting set of data because what it actually goes to show that inside of any business, it's all about the margins. Now, one of the things that we did see as a trend over a period of time is that ultimately real estate agents have been arguing for maybe a slightly higher split of the total fee that they produce. But if you want a higher split, then ultimately you don't have full discretion around what you actually get to charge the customer. You can't have the cake and eat it too. You actually need to be in a position that you start to really think about it, that you can only get a certain percentage split if you're charging a certain minimum fee. Now, why is this so critically important? What we're going to find throughout the course of this next era is that ultimately as the free money evaporates from the global economy, that all of a sudden you can't just be in a position that the business doesn't make a profit. It's actually really important that a business makes a profit, not just a little profit, but an obscene profit, so that you can actually invest in the best technology, into the best people, into the best suppliers to produce the best outcomes for the best products and services for your end consumer. And this is a really important part of what we do. It's about protecting the margins on the inside of business. Now, if you think about it, average sale prices will collapse across the country, 5%, 10%, maybe 15% in some of our regional areas that haven't yet felt the full brunt of all of these interest rate increases. Therefore, in addition to that, if we expect volume will probably stay the same or potentially come back a little bit more, then the only opportunity that we've got is to actually increase the fee. Now, as agents panic, what's the first thing they do? They drop fees in order to go and win business of a smaller share of a much smaller pie. So what's really important? We've got to make sure that we've got to protect those margins. So inside of your business, the best thing that you can actually do is to go and have a pricing conversation with every single person inside of your business, both in sales and property management, to actually really understand how we actually price our services. Do we price our services on cost plus? What does it cost us to provide the service? And then in addition to that, we add a profit margin. Do we do what we go to call competitor pricing based on what we believe our competitors price it, but we'll beat it by 10%? Or in addition to that, do we actually move ourselves into what we go to call surge pricing, which we learned from Uber? We're really busy right now, so we're going to charge you 4% to go and sell that particular house. Ultimately, what we really need to do is to go back to value-based pricing, where customers really see the value in what it is that you do. In a high inflationary environment, you just can't increase the fees. You actually need to be in a position that you increase your effectiveness for the client, but ultimately you actually start to think about innovation and the usage of technology to smooth out those sales processes, to get rid of all of the things that actually make it clumsy and to make it seriously smooth for both buyers and sellers. Your job this year is to make sure that you protect the margins on the inside of the business, to make sure that there's plenty of profit left over, so that ultimately you can reinvest, to reinvent, to actually stay ahead of the future and the curve of where estate agency businesses are going.